You won't want to pass this one up, as we will bring you all the scores. We promise to serve you up the best highlights, because that's the way we run things at CTN. Hard hits and celebrations makes this show quite appealing. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
I'm Howie Shapiro. We've been off for a week. Glad to be back here behind the desk for everyone.
And a lot to talk about. Obviously, we did the preview show right before the holiday weekend, and since that time, everybody has gotten into action, and of course, school has started, and I'm sure the kids are so excited as they start week number 2.
I'm sure. You remember those days way back when. I do at Bedrock High, so I celebrate.
Football team has played a couple of games since we sat on this desk. They opened their schedule on the road the Thursday before Labor Day against Osseo. Cardinals were eager to take the field for the first time under new head coach Chase Vasquez, and while it didn't go their way, they had plenty of positives to take from their first contest. All the work, all the sweat, all the tears, it all comes down to this, taking the field as a team. Orioles got the win beneath their wins early. Opening drive, 13 plays to go 65 yards and ends with a 6-yard score for Mikey Criswell. They're a run-heavy offense. Starting quarterback Wes Kranz completed just 3 passes, but this one to Stefan Varsinas gains 28, and it sets Osseo up in the red zone. Again, that leads to another Criswell TD. 4-yard score came on the first play of the second quarter. They added a 2-point conversion and had a 15-0 lead. Defense provides a spark. Cam Cummings-Coleman, the strip sack. Deion Jones able to recover for the Cardinals right at midfield. Offense was able to move the ball against the Orioles, but they weren't able to finish. A.D. Snow's pass just out of the reach of a wide-open Cyril Lafaka in the end zone. Orioles had one more rushing score before the break. This time it's Philip Say from 5 yards out, 22-0 Blackbirds at the break. Aiden Snow was able to complete 17 passes to 5 different receivers week 1, but this one is off Hatamna's hands, right to Kofi Kawanu. Orioles take over in plus territory, and they take advantage. It's Criswell again, crossing the stripe for the 3rd time in the game. He had 23 carries for 118 yards and the 3 scores. As a team, Orioles racked up 233 rush yards and 5 touchdowns. Noah Graves completes the scoring with a 13-yard scamper early in the 4th quarter. Not the start the Cards were hoping for as they fall 36-0. And, those lopsided losses had far more than they would have liked last year. We're hoping to avoid that, but that's where they start.
Yeah, and the unfortunate part, they're running time again in the 4th quarter. You and I kind of talked a little bit about, we saw some positives, though, that maybe we didn't see last year, and there are some things to grow. But, they gave up a lot of yards on the ground. They made a lot of mental errors in their first game, and I think that's what really hurt them. Took them out of drives, took them out of field position, and, it's always tough when you're behind the 8 ball like that.
Yeah, the penalties were ridiculous. 5 penalties in 1 drive. To help the final drive of the first half, scoring drive of the first half for Osseo, and they just can't do that. I thought they got a little more rhythm on offense than I would have expected week 1.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they just could not run the ball.
No, they could not stop the run, obviously. And they could not stop the run either. So the Cardinals open their home schedule on Friday, hosting a strong non-conference foe from White Bear Lake. The Bears opened the season with a 28-14 win over Park at Cottage Grove. They have a balanced attack and a stingy defense. Cardinals showed improvements in some areas, but not enough to get a W. Cardinals were fired up to take their home field for the first time, and they had a good crowd cheering them on. But they had themselves behind early. White Bears settled for a field goal on the opening drive. Possession after a penalty took a TD off the board. Marching again, and late in the first, Tomi Animasan with a 19-yard gain, as you saw there. That sets up his first passing touchdown, flips it over the middle to Antonio Brown. No, not that one. 10-0 Bears at the first quarter. Cardinals, very next play, bad snap, skips past Aiden Snow, can't control it on the turf. Christian Humphrey able to scoop, and there's no one to stop him from scoring. White Bear with a fumble recovery TD for the 2nd straight game. They're up 16-0, and that's what it was at the half. Cards down 23 midway through the 3rd. Animasan has all day in the pocket, but his throw is into traffic, easily picked off by Parker Nick. Defense giving the home sideline a little bit of a spark. The Cardinals offense, they were able to establish a little better ground game week 2. TJ Neal had 70 yards, 14 of them right here. He and Sean Washington III combined for 125 rushing yards and both averaged over 5 yards per carry. That led to the first score of the season. Snow hits Loic Joitza coming across the middle, and he is not to be denied. A 14-yard score, a long-awaited first score of the season. It's 23-7 late in the third. Bears are going to add a little more insurance early in the fourth quarter. Anemas on floats one over the defense, find Colton Butts all alone. It's a 53-yard touchdown, one of 3 in the game for Anemas. Game pretty much out of reach now, but the Cards don't stop fighting. Snow on the move, throws deep, connects with Vachi Ebradlidze. He takes to the house for a 41-yard score. But the Cardinals are going to lose, unfortunately, 23-14. But they did show additional progress from week 1, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. And the running game was much improved over week 1. Unfortunately, the passing game didn't have that same rhythm. But you saw some of that come a little bit more later in the contest. And with the game being a 2-score game, 3-score game, I don't think we saw as many backups on the field for White Bear Lake as we had for Osseo late in the game week 1. So some things are good. You mentioned not struggling to stop the run. It was something they struggled with a lot last year. So far this season, giving up far more rushing yards, over 200 yards in each of the first 2 games. Not going to be easy to stop their next couple of opponents. They're at Andover on Friday. Unfortunately, Howie,
we won't be there.
But we will be at the Cardinal Stadium when they return home to take on the Blaine Bengals. And then after that, the latter part of the schedule is the new conference opponents, which includes Hopkins, Irondale, Park of Cottage Grove, and Eastview. Tennis team staying busy over the last couple of weeks. We talked about it in the preview. Like to get through more than half of their schedule before the school year even starts. This one against Centennial definitely did not go their way. A 6-1 loss at the hands of the Cougars. Melanie Lee had the lone win for the Cardinals at second singles. Caitlin Easton, again, doing a really nice job of stepping from second singles up to first, but not able to keep pace with the Centennial's top player. Tia Miller lost also in straight sets at third singles. Severson and Anderson at first doubles, and Severson and Kaziuk at third doubles, also both losing in straight sets. Cardinals did bounce back though with a win over Armstrong, a 5-2 victory. All of the singles 1, 2, and 3 anyway, getting victories for the Cardinals. And then with Avery Anderson slipping into that third single spot, she's been bouncing back a bit through this point of the season, back and forth from singles to doubles. Severson and Fowler teaming up at first singles, and Severson and Kozliak at third doubles, also getting straight set victories. Well, the Cardinals were hoping to start a win streak when they headed to Fridley last Wednesday. The non-conference matchup with the Tigers gave the Cardinals a great chance to gain some momentum and some confidence as they push through the second half of their regular season schedule. The non-conference match, the wrong spot. Junior captain Caitlin Easton is off to a strong start in the first single spot. Looked comfortable against Irondale, against Fridley. Well, I did a bang-up job with this, right? But she does win this one, cruises to a 6-love, 6-1 win. Senior co-captain Melanie Lee on the next court, and she'll repeat the feat at second singles, controlling this point from the backcourt and finishing with a great drop shot. Another 6-0, 6-1 win for the Cardinals. Tia Miller serving at third singles for the Cardinals, and the sophomore keeps the momentum flowing. Good job making her opponent move and forcing the mishit. Miller wins 6-1, 6-3. Tightest match of the afternoon happened on the fourth singles court. Tamaya Kohlenberg able to hold on for the win, 7-5, 1-6, 10-2. Cards perfect on the singles side. First doubles, Morgan Severson serving, Avery Anderson at the net with a very quick winner. They swept up 6-love, 6-love. Second doubles, freshman Bella Fowler and sophomore Laura Severson had a lot of strong points. They fall short 5-7, 3-6. Cardinals score one more win on the final court. Juniors Olivia Kivioja and Violet Schneider close it out with a 6-3, 6-4 win at third doubles. Cardinals a solid 6-1 win. And love to see them get the back-to-back victories. Then over the weekend, first weekend of school, they get to go on their trip up to Brainerd for the Brainerd
nice.
Invitational. It's something the girls really look forward to, and they placed well. It is an individual tournament, and they had 3 girls finish top 3. Coach Stork said that it hasn't happened in several seasons. As a team, they finish in 4th. Caitlin Easton in the top singles group finished 3rd. Melanie Lee and Avery Anderson both finished 2nd in their respective pools. So congratulations to all of them. And I know when we spoke to them for the preview, a couple of the captains, when we spoke to them, brought up that was one of the highlights they look forward to each year.
Oh, why not? Absolutely. And we see them in a couple of weeks, so excited for that.
They are at Totino today, actually, Monday afternoon, as we sit on this set. They will host Andover on Wednesday, and then they will host Osseo next week on Monday.
Well, the volleyball team opened its home schedule, hoping to build off its first win of the year. The Cardinals, they have several smaller schools on the schedule this season, and that includes Cristo Rey Jesuit, a 2A team from Minneapolis. The Pumas had just 2 wins last season, so both of these squads are looking for big bounce-back type years. First set, Cardinals on the serve, a weak pass back, and Kiera Radke makes the Pumas pay. Quick kill, and the Cardinals are in control. Well, Radke was a setter last year, and they moved her outside this season, and it's paying off. Another big kill coming up here on the left side. Helps the Cards secure a 25-9 win in the first. Well, that second set goes quickly like blink, and you missed it quick. Lauren Pavelko with the ace as the Cardinals cruise to a 25-3 win. Puma's able to stay a little closer in the third, but it ends the same. A solid serve receive for the home squad. Morgan Wedan finishes with a strong kill. Final result was never really in question. Jade Pringhofer, with another ace, and the Cardinals sweep up with a 25-14 win in set number 3.
Love to see the smiles, and again, this was done with intent. There are, I think, a half a dozen 6 or 2A teams or 2A matches for the Cardinals, hoping they can feel what it's like, get some confidence, and get some victories, and then turn around and increase their pace against those conference teams that play a little bit faster, have girls who are a little bit stronger, a little bit taller, hit a little bit harder. The transition didn't work out so well last week. The next game they face Blaine, and they lose in 3, 16, 12, and 9. Still early on at 2-5, feeling pretty good. Coach Talana Rudzitis sent me an email, talking about how well she thinks they're playing and progressing. So to get 2 wins early in the season, again, I think they only had 2 all of last year. So great to see them off to the start that they are. They will host Park Center on Tuesday. They will host Champlin Park on Thursday. Yeah,
I spoke to her today, by the way, and she really is happy with the start. She felt the match against Blaine, they started off quickly, and she felt they had a good first set, but things kind of fell off the table after that, unfortunately. But they're excited for tomorrow night's match.
Well, I was going to say we will see them
we'll be
tomorrow
there.
night. We will be there. Swimming and diving team got its official season started on the 28th against Spring Lake Park. They lose 103-70. Smith Jeanette finished 2nd place in diving with a 192.7, a great way to start her season. A bunch of 2nd place finishes. Moulton in the 200 freestyle, Romano in both the 100 butterfly and the 500 free. Tyler Schuda was 3rd place in the 50 free, and Hill finished 3rd in the 100 freestyle. On Saturday, they were at the Bengals Invite, obviously the home pool, but they were not the hosts. They finished in 9th place out of the 10 teams who were there. Moulton had a 16th place finish in the 100 breaststroke. Rats diving, 12th place finish in diving was the best finish of the evening for the Cardinals. You see 21st place for Romano in the 500 free, 23rd for Moulton in the butterfly, 28th for the freestyle. I think that 4th place finish for The 18th place finish for the medley relay, I believe, was their best finish. A lot of really good teams bringing, two relay teams that finished even in that group there. And I don't remember which team it was, but I looked and there were a couple of the relays where the same team had 2 of the top 5 or 6 out of the 10 teams. So there were some teams that brought some heat, to be certain. And that gets you prepared for the rest of the season. The Cardinals will host Armstrong on Thursday. And Howie,
we'll be there.
They are at Andover next Tuesday. So volleyball and swimming
this
Tuesday,
week,
Thursday this week on CTN.
Should be fun.
Cross-country team getting its first couple of meets under their belt. Starts with the District 11 meet back on the 28th. The boys finished in 5th place. Daggy Alimu was 21st overall in a time of 18:22.1. Burnett exactly a minute behind him in 37th. Jacobs in 43rd, just under 20 minutes. J.S. Sequeira in 62nd with Vandergriff right behind him in 63rd, and Smith finished out in 65th. On the girls' side, also a 5th place finish, but look at Ruby Demmer. 3rd place, 1937.1. I think at the time it was a season best only because it was the first meet of the year,
right.
Official meet of the year.
True.
So watch out for her. She is going to be outstanding all year long, and excited to see what she is able to achieve this year, and still just a junior. Sinigaglia was 14th place in 22 minutes, 50 seconds, 0.7. Ryland in 29th. Then Faith Koo in 31st, Bornis in 36th, and Larson in 38th. We go through so much stuff on this show. Well, last week, a little bit bigger field for the Cardinals cross-country teams to contend with. On Thursday, they were in Minnetrista for the Bauman-Rovin Invitational. There were 16 teams on the boys' side, 15 for the girls, and it included some of the top teams in the state. Cardinals were able to put up great numbers across the board. 21 of their 25 runners in 5K races posted either season or personal bests. This is always a great test for the team early on. It's a tough course against some really tough teams, and the weather complicated matters even more on Thursday. But the rain didn't dampen the Cardinals' spirits. Daggy Alimu was the boys' team's top finisher. Senior finished 54th in just over 18 minutes. Senior captain Josh Hyatt wasn't far back. His time of 18:22.7 put him in 74th. The youngsters filling the rest of the varsity spots. Freshman Tate Burnett posting his best time ever, finishes 91st. 8th grader Josie Jacobs is 109th. Nixon Glenn is the 5th finisher for the Cards, taking 129th. Cardinals finished 14th as a team. Storyline for the girls team all year long is going to be who can step up and help Ruby Demmer score points for the squad. The junior will almost guaranteed be in the lead group almost every race this season. She has a top 10 finish at Bauman-Rovin. She's 8th in 1913.3. Then a big gap that we see Josie Sinigaglia, a PR for her 2:04 flat, crossed in 74th. 8th grader Mackenzie Ryland next to the finish. She took 104th. Seniors Emily Bornis and Ella Legree finished 112th and 115th respectively. Cardinals also finish 14th as a team.
Love seeing athletes get their personal bests during these races, and as they continue to try and break those marks, but it's always great to see.
Well, and to see them come in and be putting up personal bests in the first couple of races of the year means they put in the work in the offseason.
Exactly.
Again, so excited. Ruby has been one of the team's leaders since she was in middle school. She just continues seemingly to get stronger. Excited to see what she can do. A top 10 finish in a race like that says a lot about the potential she has for the rest of the season. Waconia Invite is their race this week on Thursday. Then the GRIAC Invitational at the University of Minnesota is on Saturday, the 20th. Boys soccer team started with a win we talked about last week, and unfortunately game 2 went the other way. A tight one against a tough conference opponent, though. They lose to Totino Grace by a 2-1 score. Tamsir Jarju had the one goal for the Cardinals. Drew Howard made 7 saves in the loss.
Well, the Cardinals were hoping for a quick bounce back. First day of school, first conference game of the season.
Home game,
sorry. The Elk River Elks were 1-2. They were coming off their first win of the year, but they too had a 1-goal loss to Totino Grace. So 2 evenly matched teams, both fighting for their first conference wins of the season. Cardinals set the tempo from the start, but the Elks get on the board first. Mike Kamadou de Juga on the attack. He stops up to get the great look. It's stopped, but the rebound right to Kane Christensen, who has a wide open net to score. That comes with just over 2 minutes left in the first. And you can't answer much quicker than this. Good through ball for Omar Warku. Puts it on a tee for Michael Monson. He doesn't miss. First career for the sophomore, first career goal. Cards tied at less than 20 seconds later. It's 1-1 at the break. Cardinals continue to control the action in the second. Great look for Tasmir Jarju. He fires it right off the far post. Officially, the Cardinals outshoot the Elks 10-2, but it felt much like more than that. There are a lot of grade A chances in the boot by Evan Wold right at the corner, but the keeper is able to keep it at 1 apiece. Down to the final 5 minutes, Jarju finds a room in the middle and a beautiful feed for Adam Kish. Kish had a team-high 10 goals last year. His first of the season as a game winner. 2-1 is going to be the final. It caps a pretty impressive performance by the home team from start to finish.
Yeah, really impressed. You were not able to join us, Jerry and I.
That's why you were impressed?
We're at the game. Really impressed by the way they came in, the intensity they showed, the urgency they play with on the defensive side. As soon as Elk River had the ball, everyone was hustling to get on the defensive side of their mark. They were marking close. They were giving out the Elks absolutely zero space. I had them. So Matt sent me an email afterwards. He said they outpossessed him 58-42, which I thought it was more like 65-35. I mean, it was a dominant performance. I had him shots on goal at like 17-2, and I think he had him at like 10-2. So it wasn't. I was giving the goalies the guys a little more credit, but they really all aspects looked really, really good, and it'll be interesting to see what they're able to do. Unfortunately, Elks are kind of like the Cardinals.
Right.
One of those teams struggling to gain respect in that conference standings. They're going to have to contend with the top teams in the conference. Couple since that game have gone the opposite way. They lost 4-2 to Blaine. This is a Blaine team. Maybe it was Blaine. It was either Blaine or Andover that had beaten Elk River 5-0. So, some of these teams in the conference are going to come at you with a lot more speed, a lot more talent. But still, a 4-2 loss to Blaine. Noah Kassip and Hassan got the 2 goals. Yang had an assist for the Cardinals. They fall to 2-2. And then against Osseo, they lose 3-1. Hassan had the lone goal for the Cardinals on an assist from Yang. Howard made 7 saves in the loss. But still, again, it's a building process. Coach Backberg came in. They made some good strides year 1, but didn't have quite as many wins as they would have liked. Here they are early in season 2. They've already got 2 in their pocket. A lot more potential ahead on the schedule.
Yeah, I watched that game. I was able to watch the Elk River game, and I thought that they played really well. I thought that there's some things to take from that game to move forward. But you're right. There are some really good teams in this conference.
They will have Champlain Park on Thursday, and then they are at Andover on Monday next week. Girls soccer team, again, we talked about them. They started with a pair of wins. Fantastic start for Coach Maggie Spellman in her first season against St. Louis Park back on Thursday the 28th. They had to settle for a tie, 1-1. Erilyn Yang win. Remember that name because you're going to hear it a couple more times over the next couple of games. She is emerging as their most dangerous weapon. That put them at 2-0-1. Then against Forest Lake, they come up short, losing 2-1. Who scored their goal, Howie?
Yang scored their goal.
Erilyn Yang Win scored their goal.
Sir.
Then they, unfortunately, also lost a 2-1 game to Osseo. And oh, never mind. It was Wold that scored. When I had done it, I thought
she scored all the games?
I thought that she had been. No, it was Wold that scored it. My joke failed because was based on a faulty premise.
Happens. It happens.
Carolyn Yang-Wen has scored a couple of games in a row. That's good. It's good to see them scoring. Remember, this is a team that was shut out in more than half of their games last year. The energy that Coach Spellman brings into the program, and really and I wasn't there with the one game that we've done for the girls, but it's the same thing. I watched some of it. Just watching the energy that they play with, the way that they hustle. It seems, if sometimes all it takes is a change to get everybody, a fresh reset, and hoping that's what this is. And early season again, got a couple of wins already. The rest from here on out is gravy.
You can tell the energy that the girls get from their coach because, she's not that far removed from her playing days, and I think she can really relate well to these young women, and I think that they feed off of that, and you can see it.
Well, and much like we talked about with the volleyball team, a schedule for the girls' soccer team that is going to give them an opportunity to play some smaller schools, a chance to have a little more success. This week they host Rockford on Tuesday, and then they are at Becker on Saturday this week. We, as we talked about, will be at the Fieldhouse on Tuesday for volleyball against Park Center. We will be at the pool on Thursday to see the swimming and diving team host Armstrong. We'll see the football team next Friday when they host the Blaine Bengals. But that is going to do it for this edition of Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. To the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young. Say good night.